everyone. Very soon, Sherry Vine will join us, and my name is Yair Ochner. I'm the founder and the artistic director of TLVFest. I'm very happy that you are here with us. TLVFest is the Tel Aviv International LGBT Film Festival. It was supposed to celebrate 15 years this June, but you know, we have a coronavirus in this world, so the festival postponed to November. And Sherry was already our guest 3 times, and she won the honorary award in 2019, the festival honorary award, and I'm very happy to have such amazing friend, and she agreed to do this conversation about subject that usually people don't ask her about, which movies she loves, which actresses influence her. Oh, and she's here, so I'm going to add her. And we are going live. Sherry.
Shalom.
Shalom. Hello.
I'm going to stand here like this and not move.
I can say something because I know that you are like I will use your words. I will be dirty because it's midnight in Israel, so I can be dirty.
Yay!
So you've been a prostitute today. I'm the third one. I'm the third.
I know, but let me just explain this because I did 3 Instagram things.
Yes. Do you hear me? Oh, okay.
I don't know why the phone was ringing. That's weird. Here's the thing. They're all so important, and I just don't want to get in drag every day. So I think if I'm going to do one, then I should just do as much as I can in one day. So yes, I'm a whore. I'm going to turn the light up. Is that too much light?
It's okay.
That's better.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, I did an interview in the UK, which was fun and silly and very short. And then I just did Alec Mappa's show where I just performed. And now, Yair, I am 100% yours.
I love it. I love it.
I miss you so much.
I miss you too, you know. And I know.
I was very happy to see you in June, but now it's November, hopefully.
Yes. But we are not allowed to talk about anything about November, okay? Only about Bianca. Because
that's what I meant.
Public. Okay. Okay. Not the other stuff. Yes. So
one way or another,
Sherry Vine.
One way or another, I'm getting my blonde ass to Tel Aviv this year.
Yes, yes. You know, I can tell that usually we bring Sherry Vine to the festival, and she performing in really small, dirty places that the festival could pay, you know, the rent. And now she's going to perform in the Philharmonic House, like in 2,000 people, you know.
Yeah, I
so
know.
It's a big change.
Well,
it's amazing.
I mean, I will always feel most at home in a dirty, dark bar. I'm not even kidding. So performing, like opening for Bianca around the world has been so much fun. And there are these gorgeous, like we did a show in Copenhagen for the Royal Danish Opera House. I mean, it's magnificent. And I'm singing How I Blew Ya. And it goes through my head like, the queen sits here. You know what I mean? It's like, So
Right.
it's fun and it's amazing, but I still like, I like to be able to touch people, so I like being in an intimate space. And it's all the same. Bianca will still do stuff in a bar too, so it's like,
Cool. So
and I just
today,
have so much fun. You take very good care of us when we come for the film festival. I've done it 4 times now.
3, I think.
3.
But
And,
we met in Berlin a few times too.
Yes. And you always take such good care of us, so I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's going on in Tel Aviv right now?
Oh, it's starting, the quarantine start to get loose a little bit.
Okay.
So we can go out, go to the beach, buy beer and, talk with friends in a park or a square. And so it's starting to feel back to normality. The gym is our open, so I'm happy. I could walk on my chest,
Right. Okay.
So, but I want to talk with you about subject that I think usually people don't ask you about.
Yes, I love that. I love it.
About your favorite movies, favorite actresses, your influence. Okay. But before I have 2 questions about this lockdown. 2 questions about the culture during lockdown. First of all, it's what have you been watching during this quarantine? And if you could recommend on 2 or 3 serious movies you just watched, and
I have been watching more. I've been watching more television than I have ever watched in my entire life. And,
me too.
but we have a rule. I'm roommates with Mario Diaz, and Mario is a big club promoter here, and he's a performer also, and he was in Dirty Sanchez with Jackie Beat. And we've been friends for over 20 years, and we are roommates, so he's the only person that I have contact with. But we have a rule. We wake up in the morning, we both work out physically, work out for an hour, and then we have creative stuff all during the day. As long as it's light outside, I'm working. The minute it gets dark, we have wine and we watch TV. So every night we're watching TV. And Jackie's even texted me sometimes I know it's wine time, but I have a business question. So, but my favorite things are unorthodox.
Wow, it's amazing.
It's amazing. First of all, it's a whole world that I didn't know anything about. And then it's a different insight into that world. And the acting is so fucking good. I just loved it. And Ozark, we watched Ozark, which is also on Netflix, and it was just season 3. And to me, again, it's some of the best acting, and it's so, so good. We just right now we're watching Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay.
And loving that. The acting's really good. So I haven't watched very many movies. We've been kind of watching series.
But you didn't have time to watch a movie that everyone told me you must watch it, and now after many years, now you have the time to watch it. Did you add this movie that now I have this evening I'm going to no.
I know that's bad. I have a list. There's classic old Hollywood classic. You have to watch this movie that I still have never seen. And so I just kind of have to forget. I'm making a list now. But I did just watch the Divine documentary.
Okay.
Which I loved also. Loved.
Yes.
And so I've been trying. I tend to watch more documentaries than regular films, I guess. But I know that you have been posting a lot of recommendations on your Facebook. And I have to go and listen to your advice.
So, first of all, Circus of Books.
Love.
It's a must.
I didn't know what to expect from that either, because I remember Circus of Books from when I went the first time I lived in Los Angeles in the 80s. Turn that light up. And I loved it. There was the whole story about the mother and how she was very religious and having to kind of realign her religious views to coordinate with accepting her gay son. And I was like, yes, that to me was the most moving part of that movie, that you hear these horrible stories about parents having nothing to do with their children. And here is a woman that was like, I'm not going to lose my son because he's gay. I'm the one who needs to evolve. And that was everything. I loved it. We loved that movie.
Excellent. And now I want to dig into your culture past and discover.
What?
I want to dig into your past.
Oh,
and
I
discover.
dig into my crust.
You know, we never tried. I want to discover which movies and TV shows influenced you when you've been much younger. Now you are like, 1,000 years old. I want to know when you've been 100 years old. Before you became Sherry Vine,
Yes, I do have to say, Alan, our mutual friend Alan Ross, he's in Tel Aviv. He did send me a lot of links for movies, and I didn't watch any of them yet, but I'm going to. Well, growing up, I watched a lot of TV as a kid. I mean, we weren't allowed to watch TV during the day. We could only watch TV at night also, so maybe that's where this comes from. But I was obsessed with the variety shows. So in the 1970s, you had the Carol Burnett show, which was a variety show. The Cher, Sonny and Cher, and then just the Cher show. Dolly Parton would have a variety special. The Barbara Mandrell. So all these people. And I was obsessed. And I would think that that's probably still today like my biggest influence of comedy and the look and everything. Like, if my dream show would not just be me standing there singing parodies, it would be like dancers and then a commercial parody, a comedy skit, all of these things together in one show. So kind of like the gay Saturday Night Live. But Carol Burnett was my biggest influence growing up. And I still remember. And then I was obsessed with Charlie's Angels and these kind of shows of the 70s. And I was obsessed with Farrah Fawcett. Oh.
These 3 years are like the show was so campy. And so,
and my parents were, I think my parents were confused because they knew from very young age that I was gay. They just knew. But then all of a sudden I'm like, a teenager, and I had posters of Farrah Fawcett all over my walls. And they were like, oh. And I was like, honey, it was so not sexual at all. Not at all.
So this is really what I want to ask you. What performance or which movie made you to become entertainer? Did you had like a movie that you said, okay, this movie really? What?
It wasn't a movie. It really was the Carol Burnett show. I mean, my mom even tells a story of I would be like 3 or 4 years old and watching Carol Burnett and like pointing to the TV and be like, that's what I want to do.
Okay. I think I told you the experience I had few days ago with my gay experience in TV. So I told you that the first gay character I ever saw in TV, it was Steven in Dynasty. And my parents didn't allow me to watch it, to watch the show because it was adult and I was like 10 or 11. Okay. So I was hiding in the small room behind the living room and watching the TV behind her back. Did you have like a gay character you saw in a movie or a TV show, and you know, okay, I'm like him. I'm like this guy, or is like my.
I don't know. I mean, I always had like a strong thing with women and female characters, especially the ones that were a little bit campy or larger than life. And Cher and stuff, and like people like don't really think of Cher as being a comedian now, but if you go back to the 1970s and watch her TV show, she was fucking funny, and she did different characters, and she really is an actress and a comedian. And so it was things like that that I watched that, and it wasn't like I'm not trans, and it wasn't like I want to be a woman, but it was like that's what I want to play.
Okay.
And I can't remember, there weren't a lot of gay characters on TV and movies when I was younger, and the majority of them were kind of either completely over-the-top queens, which would be funny, but I didn't think like that's me, or something kind of dark and twisted and damaged.
Okay. So, can I ask you which movie changed you the most? Not about, you know, gayness or entertainment, but did you have a movie that you saw and it changed your mind? This is something like, you know, like I can tell you that the first movie that totally blown my mind. I was 12 years old and I went to see with my friends The Name of the Rose.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this is a movie that 12 years old shouldn't watch in cinema, but but it was in the local cinema in the neighborhood, and we liked Sean Connery, and we said, let's go, and you know, and we saw a movie that we never saw something like this, you know.
Okay.
Dark, violent.
I mean, I have a lot of those. I can't think of one that was like, oh, this changed my life. There's certain movies that I can watch over and over because it's just like the acting is so good that as an actor, I think, gosh, that's the right way to do it. But I can't think of. There's so many. I know that the one of the first movies that I cried at was the Poseidon Adventure. I don't know why, but there's something about Shelley Winters, who I don't know what it was, but when she dies in that movie, I started crying, and my mom was like, "What is wrong with you?" But you know, I was like a kid. And I'm not really sure what it was about her that I connected to, but that just like uncontrollably crying. Yeah, I don't know. I really can't think of like one movie that's like, oh my God, this movie changed my life. And when we start talking about what movies we like or dislike and why, I have answers for that. But there really wasn't any one movie that changed my life.
And do you have like a female performance or a man performance in a movie that, you know, totally blown your mind, and you said, because I know you studied acting before you became drag queen, you know, you're an actor in your profession. So that you said, okay, this something like I want to do this role or something similar, and this character in this movie, I want to be something like this. I want to do something like this.
Well, yeah, I remember seeing Al Pacino, especially in the 70s, in a lot of his movies. Wow. Didn't see a lot of men being allowed to be emotionally vulnerable. You always had to be very macho. And so movies that had men that were emotionally vulnerable, I thought, oh, I'd like to do something like that. I mean, I can't remember the actor's name, and I don't know if anybody there is watching Ozark, but in season 3 of Ozark, the actor that plays the brother.
The brother, yeah.
I was like, that might be the best male acting I've ever seen. Period.
He is impressive, this guy. I don't remember the name of the actor.
It is.
Really
it blew my mind. Everything was so... and to have these kind of scenes where you have to... I don't want to give anything away, but to have these kind of scenes where a big alpha male, has to break down and be emotional and cry and all these things, that can be like, whatever. But I was like, fuck, that's good acting.
Yeah, and it really, this show is really remind me, and especially this character, the brother of Laura Linney. It remind me really, you said Al Pacino in the 70s, and he played so many violent and fragile in the same time.
The Godfather is a perfect example. I mean, the movie is about his character. And because he starts off as the kind of shy, I don't want to be involved, good person, and evolves into taking over the business. And so the arc of acting for that character that Al Pacino delivers is, that's what I mean, like so impressive.
Yeah, I think it would be, maybe I will close it about Al Pacino, but I think the best jobs he made, it was in the 70s when he really had a very complex.
Afternoon.
Yeah, this is like, and this is one of the biggest queer movies made in Hollywood in the 70s.
Yeah,
And people never understood that. I think people in this time, during the 70s, didn't understand they are watching a queer movie. It's a love story.
Absolutely, they didn't. It's a
love story.
Of course, yeah. I just watched it maybe like 2 years ago again because I hadn't seen it in so long, and I was just like, it's a love story. It's really good.
It's amazing. If you didn't watch it, people
put that on your list.
To find it. Yeah, put it in your list.
Tom Felfrey is the brother from Ozark. Thank you.
Thank you, yes. Okay. So we're talking about that, and we already talked about TV. So I want to talk about music. Yeah.
Okay.
So, which singer is your most favorite one, or a number one diva performer?
Number one. I have to pick one?
One.
Oh my gosh, that's really hard. Okay, you know what? There's only one performer that I have every single record or CD, even though I don't even have a CD player anymore, but I kept the CDs. There's only one that I have everything they've ever recorded, and that's Susie Sue and the Banshees.
Oh, amazing story.
I know it's weird. People are like, what? And I'm like, that was obsessed. Like that, obsessed. I love Whitney Houston. I love Lady Gaga. I love Barbara Streisand. I love Beth Ditto. Every day it changes. I might wake up and be like, oh my God, today Beth Ditto it's all about Beth Ditto. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, it's all about Gaga again. But if I had to pick one that I could take to a desert island, Susie Sue.
And you saw her in performance because she's totally nuts on the stage.
Oh yeah. I've seen her numerous times. She's come twice to my show.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The first time I was doing a play here in Los Angeles with Jackie Beat in 1995 or 6. And a friend of ours, Ron Athey, who's this queer performer. I don't know if you know Ron Athey, performance artist. And he said, I'm coming to the show tonight. I'm bringing Susie and Budgie. And I was like, no, you're not. And he was like, oh, yeah. They sat in the very front row And I was like, the whole show trying not to look at them, like acting like this, because I was just like, oh my God. And after the show, they were so nice and funny. Super, super, super cool. I met them another time in a club where I was performing, and they were there, and they were very, very cool. And then a third time, I actually went to their show. It was the show of The Creatures, which is another band that Susie and Budgie were in. And I went to see that show and kind of got backstage to say hi, and she was just like, whatever. So, but otherwise, she was fun.
Yeah, I saw her too in London in a concert. I don't remember the name of the theater, and she was wow.
Yeah,
she was. You know, when I discovered her, when she made the soundtrack to Batman Return with Michelle Pfeiffer, then I discovered her and started to follow her music.
Hereof. Yeah, I actually love her solo stuff too. Into a Swan is one of my favorite songs, and the video is gorgeous. So yeah, people don't know that I'm not like a goth girl at all, but The Cure and then Susie and the Banshees, obsessed.
Amazing. So this is really, you answered to all the questions I want to ask you about music.
Dear Prudence is a good cover.
I think.
What?
Because the music I want to ask you, it's which kind of music you listen at home?
Well, I mean, as much as I love Judy and Liza and Barbara and all of those divas, I really do. That's not what I would listen to at home. If I'm cleaning or putting music on by the pool or something, I am a total rock and roll fag. It'll be like Ramones, you know, old school 70s rock. I'm definitely Nirvana, even like Guns N' Roses. I don't like to talk about them because they're kind of stupid in some ways, but their music I love.
It's fun to clean the house with Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you had the Squeeze Box party a couple years ago, and that was the rock and roll band with Gloria Viagra from Berlin. And so, yeah, I'm total a rock and roller.
And you've been part of the original Squeeze Box too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Played in the original parties. If people don't know, maybe you could tell us a little bit what is Squeeze Box. And
Squeeze Box started in New York City in '93. Michael Schmidt started it with Patrick Briggs, and Miss Guy from the Toilet Boys was the DJ, and the original hostess was Mistress Formica. And then I think after Formica was only the hostess for like a year and a half maybe, and then I took that spot and was the hostess, and it was the most amazing party. Oh God, I loved it. It was every Friday night, and there would always be there would be a band playing that wasn't a house band, like a special guest band, the Luna Chicks or D-Generation, whoever. They would do a show. And then there'd be a little break, dancing and drinking. And then at 1 o'clock, it would be the Squeeze Box house band with a special guest and usually a drag queen. And it was a time when drag queens singing live was still kind of like, oh, you sing live? And then they're singing with a live rock band. So it was a massive hit, a big success. All the stars, celebrities, rock stars, everybody would come and walk through. But we always reminded people that you're at a queer party. You're welcome here. This is a queer party. And it was, girl, the stories I could tell you. This was before everybody had a phone. And so you'd have like Drew Barrymore dancing topless on the bar. And like the things that went on because you couldn't do that now. No one could do that. And girl, I mean, I had sex with a different straight guy every Friday. So the cell phone ruined the parties. Yeah. Because, now people need to be very careful. Yeah, yes. I remember dancing wasted, like so drunk, dancing on a sofa with Meg Ryan. And that would never happen now.
Yeah, people will be much more, aware.
Totally.
I want to ask you if you can tell us about your background, because you're coming from theater. So where you studied and what was the dream before Sherry Vine?
Well, the dream was to be a movie star, for sure. I mean, that was the big, big dream. And I've always done theater. That's all I've ever done, ever since I was a little kid. And a story, I was playing Little League Baseball. You know, baseball as a little kid. And one day driving home, my dad was like, "Are you having fun?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Well, you don't have to do this. Don't do it for me. If you're not having fun, don't do it." And I was like, "Okay, I don't want to play baseball." "All right, well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Tap dance." And my dad was like, "Okay, all right, we'll take you to tap dancing." And so my parents were so fucking cool and supportive, like very, very lucky. And that's all I've ever done. So I went to undergrad school at the University of Maryland to get my Bachelor in Fine Arts. And then I went to the University of Southern California to get my Master of Fine Arts, all in acting. And the whole big picture, the big goal was to get out of Maryland and get to Los Angeles to be a movie star. And my parents had said, "Okay, if you go to undergraduate school in Maryland, because it makes it a lot cheaper and I could live at home, we will help you go to graduate school in California." So that was the plan. I got accepted. I auditioned for the school. I got in. I moved to California. Came out of the school with an agent and auditioning and doing commercials and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm going to be a fucking movie star. And then the drag happened. And I was like, I'm going to move to New York to start a theater company where I'm the leading lady. And my parents were like, "What?" And they didn't freak out about the drag. They freaked out of like, for your entire life, all you talked about was getting to Los Angeles. And now you're moving to New York? And that's how it happened.
And this is not a plan, but then New York, you know, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I don't sure, but it was like the hub of the drag queens. Like all the drag queens was all over there, and all the independent theaters, and I guess it was the most exciting times.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's funny if you talk to
young actors.
It depends who you talk to, because I guess there are different chapters. Like I call them chapters. Like if you talk to Joey Arias, Joe would be like, New York City in the 80s was the best. And if you talk to, so for me, I moved to New York in 1992. So, and in 1992 alone, there was this explosion of drag queens, this renaissance, where a lot of them are still performing today. I mean, at the same, literally like within 1 year of each other, it was like me, Jackie Beat, Shaquita, Varla Jean Merman, Coco Peru, Hedda Lettuce, Edie. I mean, so many, and they're all still performing. And it was just like this. There's so much going on. You could be a club queen. You could be a lip sync artist. You could be singing live. There was Squeezebox, Jackie 60, Boy Bar, Lady Bunny stuff. I mean, it was just theater. There's so much to do.
Yes. So when you decided what made you to decide to become a drag queen? Like this is going to be, I'm going to be Sherry Vine. When it happened?
It just started as kind of for fun. I was performing with this guy named Robbie Daniels and out of drag, and we had a little act, and we actually wrote parodies and did shows in clubs and theaters. And one day he was like, "Oh, I want to do this thing about like Price is Right, this game show, and I need you to be like the lady doing this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I had some dialogue. And so that was literally how Sherry was born. And then I was that people would be like, "Oh, you need to come and perform at my party. You need to." I was like, no. I'm going to be a movie star, not a drag queen. No. But this little voice inside of me was just like, you need to explore this. And then my best friend from Maryland, who ended up in New York City, Douglas Sanders, was like, I'm writing a play. I'm starting a theater company, and you need to come and play the leading lady. And I was like, okay. And that's how it started.
And what was the name of the play and what you did in this play? Like,
the name of the company was Theater Couture, and the first show we did was called The Bad Weed 73, which is like the bad seed.
Okay.
But mother, she smoked some bad marijuana, which is why she had this crazy psychopathic baby. And it was really a big hit. I mean, it was a big hit, and we went on to do a lot of shows, and one of them actually went to Off-Broadway, Telltale, which was written by Eric Jackson with me and Jackie, and it was really an amazing time. The last show we did was Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie, which Stephen King himself gave us his blessing and permission to do. So that was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing.
And you did now Carrie. A Carrie in quarantine.
Well, Jackie and I, we're doing an in-quarantine series. If anybody's bored, you can go to YouTube, Miss Sherry Vine, and we did Golden Girls in Quarantine, Mommy Dearest, Three's Company, and Carrie. And this weekend we're filming I Love Lucy in quarantine.
Oh my God. Yeah, they are very, very funny, so you need to watch them.
Yes,
I love the Golden Girl. It was so funny. I was laughing so hard.
Good, thanks.
So, it's like very creative time for you, this quarantine. It's like you're making a lot of stuff.
You know what? You have to evolve. You have to evolve. And the only way that I won't go crazy is by keeping busy. I have to perform and I have to create. And so that's just what I do. And so you have to evolve it. I saw Shangela was actually a guest on Alec Mapa's show before me, and I was watching it. She's like, girl, you have to pivot. And I was like, exactly. You have to pivot. So if someone throws this at you, you got to pivot and evolve and make it work. So that's what I'm doing. And plus, I have to find ways to make some money, even a little bit. And so that's what we're doing. So most of the stuff we do is free content, like the Golden Girls in Quarantine. People don't have to pay to watch that. It's free. And they've been tipping, which is very nice because we actually have to pay someone to edit them and do all the work. So that's nice. But then every 2 weeks I do a show where it's $10 and people pay to watch that.
So in 2 weeks, because you're going to have a show.
May 28th.
May 28th, guys.
Yeah, I think it's really late. We'll have to. I know Alon watched it. He's been watching all of them, and he's in Tel Aviv, and I can't remember what time. What's the time difference?
He's in Berlin. He's in Berlin.
Oh, I thought he was still in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, lives in Berlin.
What's the time difference in?
1 hour.
No, from Los Angeles.
Oh, now it's midnight. At your place, it's 2 p.m.?
Okay, so it's 10 hours.
Yeah. You should do a show for European audience.
My show would be 4 a.m.
Yeah. Maybe you should do a show for European audience.
I should. I have to get up and do it at 6 in the morning. That's actually great. And I just want to do this real quick. I don't like to plug stuff, merchandise, but it's for a good cause. I got some Sherry Vine face masks made. They're very dirty, not safe for work. I know that people probably watching this, mostly people in Tel Aviv. What I can do is if people want to message me and buy one, I can maybe send all of them in one package to you, and we can figure that out. But it's 100% of the money goes to healthcare workers and their.
Where they can find it in your website, yes, and you can see this over there. It's the risk of the walk, huh?
They're really stupid, but it's for a good cause. They're only $20. People can pay on Venmo or on my website.
Nice. So I want to ask you, when you decided to become, okay, I'm going to be a comedy queen, I'm going to do this crazy parodies, when you decided that this is your expertise, because you are the number one in it. You know, a lot of queens trying to do parodies, but you are still the number one. No one succeed to arrive to your level.
So when Jackie would disagree with you. Well, like I said, I've been writing parodies way before I did drag. The first time I ever wrote a parody was in high school because I auditioned for the musical and I didn't get the part that I wanted. And I was so angry that I wrote a filthy parody to every song in the show, and I was going to make copies of the lyrics and put them in the programs, which I didn't do, but that's what I was going to do. So that's the first time I wrote a parody. I was in high school. And like I said, I did a group with Robbie before I ever did drag, where everything we did was a parody. So when I started doing drag, I was like, well, you know what? I love singing. I know that I'm not a pretty singer, like Courtney Act is a pretty drag singer. I'm not. And I'm going to just stick to comedy. And when I moved to New York City, I did not invent it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when I moved to New York, I didn't know of any other drag queens that were singing live and parodies. And so that's what I was doing.
And did you ever get response, or one of the singers came to watch you doing a parody of her song?
Not that I know. No one's seen it live that I know of. But Lady Gaga's seen all my videos, and she's written me messages, and she's put my videos on her website. She's super, super fucking cool. And I heard that Katy Perry liked my videos of her. Those are the only ones that I've heard from.
Okay. So the young ones, the young generation is more...
But you know, it's like I'm not making fun of the person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm making fun of me. I'm just using their music to tell the story. It's like I'm not making fun of Lady Gaga or Katy Perry or anybody. Only one. I did do a parody where, and I didn't write this one, Milan from Drag Race also. Milan's a good friend of mine. She wrote a parody of a Taylor Swift song about singing off key when she was on the Grammys one year, and I've never gotten so much hate messages. Oh my God. People said they were going to kill me for making fun of Taylor Swift, and I was making fun of her.
No, she's like the saint, you know. She's the young, how you call it in US? You have this sentence, the girl of the neighbors, the daughter of the neighbors. She's like the
next door neighbor.
Yeah. She's like the
beautiful,
the All-American.
Some of her music I like, and she's beautiful, but it's not my thing, really.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, will be the last question before I will give the audience to ask some questions, okay?
Okay.
So your next performance, it's in the
May 28th.
May 28th, and how people could find it, where they can buy tickets to it.
I will put the link up today because I'm waiting for the link. I'll have it today on Instagram and everywhere. My website, it'll be everywhere.
Okay, so this is very important.
But it's part of PEG's Digital Drag Fest. So you can also just go. You can buy a ticket right now if you go to Digital Drag Fest on stageit.com.
And another quick question. Do you have a classic movie that you love to watch again and again?
Yeah, I don't know if it's considered a classic, but I'll tell you, my favorite movie because you didn't ask me, but it's my favorite movie. I can watch it over and over and over and over and over. And it comes in two parts. Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2.
Okay. And if Tarantino will come over and tell you which character you want to play in Kill Bill 3, which character you want to play?
Ooh, Daryl Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. First of all, I really would love to make a movie like that. Like if I could really have if I had the money and the time to have someone train me to fight like that for film and to be able to make a movie like that. And I'll tell you why I love that movie so much. First of all, I'm a huge Tarantino fan. I love Quentin Tarantino because that script for Kill Bill to me is what I think is a brilliant script, that there's no side stories. It's just revenge, one story, one goal, and everything that happens is moving the story along to her checking off that list. And it's just so good. And then it's graphic, but then there's so many creative ways that he does it. There's one fight scene that's a cartoon and another one that switches to black and white. So it's I love that fucking movie.
Yeah. He's totally Israeli now. He married to an Israeli girl. They have a baby. And he has a house in Tel Aviv. So he's all over the city all the time. Now I think he's in LA, but part of the year he's walking in the street in Tel Aviv. And he even came to watch his last movie in the cinema in Tel Aviv. And people was taking picture of him watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that is so funny.
It was all over the city, all the newspapers that Tarantino came to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in Cinema City in Tel Aviv,
That's so funny. Yeah, I love that movie, and I think Daryl Hannah, that's the best thing she's ever done, ever. She's so good.
She's the actresses that are so good, but no one knows what to... Or she's not selecting the parts that she could be fit for her, or her agents don't know what to give her, to what to select for her.
Maybe, so, I guess, but she's so good.
Yeah.
Are we going to see, is anybody going to ask us questions?
Yeah, let's see. There is a question.
I'll let you do it.
So is there any questions to Sherry? This is the time.
34. So before you type, how old are you? Just 34.
So if you have questions to Sherry, this is the time to ask one. How did you came up and decide on your drag name?
This is a true story. It was just Sherry for the first year, and I'm not sure where Sherry came from. We were just... My roommate at the time, my friend Gary, he used to do my makeup, and he did the wig, he did everything. And I was like, oh, I look like a Sherry. And he's like, okay. And for a year, I was just Sherry, and then someone that I worked with said, oh, there's this building on Vine Street off of Hollywood and Vine called the Sherry. I was like, oh. And I drove up Vine Street, and sure enough, there's this apartment building called the Sherry, and it looked like a broken down crack whorehouse. And I was like, perfect. Sherry Vine.
Nice. And
I'm named after a crack whorehouse.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about it, There is few questions. It's so fast, so okay. Sorry. There is someone asked about Liquid Sky. Did you watch the movie called Liquid Sky?
Of course, I love Liquid Sky. I remember seeing that when it first came out. I was living in Baltimore, Maryland, and I saw that movie. And I can't say it changed my life, but it was just I have never seen anything like this. Super cool.
Yeah, it's a totally trip one. If you didn't watch it, it's a classic visual trip movie.
Totally.
Yes, and there is Okay, we already talked about quarantine, but he saw you in Golden Girls. So how the idea to make these theater shows, these parody theater shows about Golden Girls and Three's Company? You know, because you're doing it with Jackie.
Yeah, that's something Jackie and I had talked about doing for years, and we did a lot of plays together with Theater Couture when Jackie was living in New York. Also, she was in a lot of our Theater Couture shows. And we were just like, we need to do something. When Drag Race started and took off, and we were not getting as much work in clubs as we used to, we're like, we need to do something else. Let's just do something else. Evolve. Time to evolve. And that's when we're like, let's do the Golden Girls live on stage. Now, this has been done forever with men playing those parts in New York and other places. So we did not invent the idea. But we're like, right now, no one's doing it in Los Angeles. Let's do it. And we did. And it's a very, very, very big success.
Oh, nice. This is so cool.
Yeah, we had Alaska as a guest and sold out 20 shows. Sold out.
Wow. Oh, cool. But you really have, I want to ask you if you really love these 70s, end of 70s, early 80s sitcoms. I watched the Golden Girls, but you know, when they showed it in Israel, they showed it during afternoon for a teenager, for kids in the education TV.
Really?
Yes.
Well, what's great about the Golden Girls is that it's still 30 years later, 35 years later, it's still popular and it's still funny. It is still funny. And people of all ages, my mom loves the Golden Girls, and then my friends' 13-year-old kids love the Golden Girls. Everyone loves the Golden. So it really just works. And now we were like, let's do Facts of Life. Okay, we went and watched it, and we're like, it's not funny. It's just, you remember it being funny, you remember liking it, but then it's just not, and we had to change the script. So Facts of Life, we completely rewrote. In Golden Girls, we do not change one word, because it's just fucking funny.
There is a question, how long it takes you to write a parody, a song?
It depends. Some I can write in like an hour. I just sit down and do it. And sometimes it's a lot of work and it could take weeks. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, it's not meant to be, move on. But let's say it's like a really popular new song. I feel like I have to do a parody of this, but it's just not organic. So it takes a lot more time and work. Like How I Blew You, I wrote in an hour.
Okay. And there is a question why you moved from from New York to LA. What made you decide to do this transition?
Well, it was a very hard decision because I love New York. When I moved to Berlin in 2001, it was when I hated New York because Giuliani was taking over and ruining the nightlife, and it was just so weird. And I was like, and George Bush, I was like, I need to get the fuck out of the United States. And I moved to Berlin. Well, this was different because I love New York, and I didn't feel like I need to get out of here. I was very happy there. But all the things that I want to do now, a lot of them with Jackie, a lot of them on my own with TV and film and stuff, I just needed to be in Los Angeles. So I talked about it for like 5 years, and they were all like, you're never going to come. And then I just was like, I'm going to do it. And I'm so happy. I just needed something completely different. I want to do different things. I'm still in drag and still performing, but I just wanted to do something different. So, and right now, with being quarantined, girl, if I was in New York, it would be a lot harder. A lot harder. I'd be living in my bedroom with a piece of shit kitchen having to cook. And now I'm in LA. I'm in a house with this gorgeous kitchen and a swimming pool. So I cannot complain. It's very, it's not bad.
Yeah. And maybe it's a time, like I want to say something. We need to remember there's people that are not privileged like us, and they need support. Like last night, I went to bring food for young trans people that they kicked out from work and they don't have money to buy food. So we need to remember it and look after our members in the community and support this organization. And this is something that, because not all of us living in beautiful houses and have swimming pools or kitchens. And
on every single show that I've done, I give a portion of my tips to other queens and performers that I know are having a hard time. I'm very lucky, I know.
Yeah. So watch the show, because when you're watching Cherry Vine, you're donating too,
That's right.
So
yes.
And let's see if there is more questions. Do you see, because it's running very fast over here. Do you like RuPaul Drag Race? Do you watch it? And do you like it?
I do watch it. Of course I watch it. I watch it every season because I always have friends on. And this season, I had like 4 or 5 friends on. So I always watch it. And yeah, it's good television. It's not my favorite. I wish it was more about performing. I just want to watch drag queens performing. I don't need to watch them sitting around talking or any of that. That's just not for me. But I love watching the performance part of it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't watch the show with the talking. I only, the main show, because they have the other show. They talking. I don't know. I watched it one time. I don't watch reality. This is the only reality show I'm watching, and it's for the performances too. So
yeah, exactly. Me too.
Yeah.
But I love the show, and if they had RuPaul's Drag Race 15 years ago, I would have done anything I could to get on it.
Yeah, and I want to ask you: there is like a performer, drag queen, singer, actor that this is your dream to work with this woman or guy?
Well, I've been so lucky. Again, I've been so lucky to get to work with the people that I love and admire and respect as performers. I've been lucky to work with most of them. A lot of the girls from Drag Race, and of course Jackie and Varla and Coco and Bianca. I mean, I get to work with the people that I respect. They're not just friends. I am a fan. We want to do something like an old lady tour. We did something called National Treasures, which is me, Jackie, Lady Bunny, and Bianca, which was so much fun. So we want to do something like that and kind of add Varla and Coco. And, I think that people would love that.
Oh, it will be amazing. So
what time is it?
We have another 2 minutes, so last question. Let's see.
Okay.
Who is your favorite musician? She already answered, Susie and the Banshees.
Susie and the Banshees. Yeah, we did that.
Anyway. And is there any other? So let's say thank you very much, Cherry.
Okay.
Or do you have more time? We can continue.
No, I have to pee.
It's very important. So if you're in Israel or want to see Cherry Vine live in a huge Philharmonic Theater in November, she's coming to Tel Aviv, and she will be guest in TLVFest as well, my film festival. So come to watch her, and in 2 weeks she's going to perform over here. And thank you very much, and I love you, and see you soon.
Baby, Yair, I love you, Yair.